Away from La Liga, away from the Premier League, away from the Bundesliga, or from the French league, as you guys would say, the Ligue 1. Let's talk about Italian Serie A. Let's talk about Inter Milan. You know, in the last 5 years, nobody has given the praise to this Inter Milan side. Remember, in the last 5 years, they've changed 2 coaches. Inzaghi and what's this new guy? I've forgotten his new guy. This new guy, is it Kiev or what's his name? I'm going to check his name later. And they've actually achieved what is unachievable. In the last 5 years, Inter Milan has won 3 to 4 Scudettos. And in the last 5 years, Inter Milan as well has gotten to the Champions League 3 to 4 times. And that is recommendable. Nobody is talking about Inter Milan. And this is very shocking because if you look at all the teams in Europe, all the leagues in Europe, people talk about the Premier League, people talk about La Liga. And when you even come to La Liga, you only talk about Real Madrid and Barcelona. Atletico Madrid could be in the mix based on the signing they've done. But when you're talking about top 5 leagues, it seems like Italian Serie A is going down. Nobody forgets. People forget how difficult it is to win the Italian Serie A. In a league where you have AC Milan, Juventus, you have Napoli, you have Atlanta, and Inter Milan has been dominating that league for the last 4 to 5 years. That is recommendable. That is highly recommendable. And I want to make a very short video on this because if you look at the players that have came and gone, the achievement of this team is just remarkable. They were in the Champions League final last year against PSG. They were in the Champions League final 3 years ago against Manchester City. They always get to the later phase of the Champions League. And do you know the most important, the most surprising thing? They win the Scudetto in the last 4 to 5 years, 3 to 4 times. That is absolutely remarkable. Even the Coppa Italia, they won it 3 times in the last 5 years. And nobody's talking about it. Nobody's talking about Inter Milan and their success, which is very, very remarkable. Because when you look at the players they have, and yes, Inter Milan put a lot of money on their players, same as other team in Italian Serie A. If you look at Napoli squad, they've spent a lot of money. If you look at AC Milan, they've spent a lot of money. If you look at Roma, they spent a lot of money, despite not winning anything. But still, who has been in the limelight is Inter Milan. And this year, they look like they're going to win the league again. They even look like they're going to even get to the final of the Champions League. You know, for me, I call them the dark horse of European football. Because when you see these guys, when they play, when they know that this is the time for serious business, they put on their effort. Yes, we know that, okay, what happened against Barcelona, it was just out of luck because Barcelona could have easily gotten to the final. Yes, but it's not just luck. Hard work as well. They defend very well. They make sure that they get what they want, despite the game they play. And you just have to look at yourself and ask, who in the other part of Europe, which team is more consistent than Inter Milan? Which team are making sure that at least they end the season with a trophy, with a silverware? If you look at the top 5 league, Manchester City last year, they didn't win any trophy. Arsenal last year, they only won 1 trophy. Barcelona, yes, but Barcelona is facing Real Madrid every season, which is very, very difficult. Barcelona have only Real Madrid to worry about. But Inter Milan has not just Juventus, not just AC Milan. They have Napoli, they have Roma, they have all this top Italian side. And these are not just Italian side that we know that Italian Serie A has fallen down since the era of Kaká, Zanetti, Zambrotta, and all this like of these players. But Italian Serie A, Inter Milan have proved that Italian Serie A is a very, very difficult league. Because when you're talking about difficult league, it shows on your European tournament. When any of these players or any of these teams go to the European tournament, like the Champions League, like the Europa League, if you look at the last 2 years, Italian Serie A team have gotten to the final. But nobody is talking about it, Inter Milan. I just don't understand why. It's just like we all are focused on, yes, the English Premier League, which is very, very hot and very, very tough, which is for me the best league in the world. based on the investment. But when you look at it, the English Premier Leagues, they tend to disappoint you at some point. You cannot call out any of this English Premier League now that can win the Champions League. Yes, we could talk about Arsenal. But Arsenal, at the same time, Arsenal can bottle things. Manchester City are not in the top of the form. If we shift it now to Bayern Munich, one team you don't understand could just eliminate Bayern Munich from the Champions League. But there's one team that is always consistent in the last 4 to 5 years. And it is Inter Milan for me. And nobody is talking about them. Honestly, I really want to know your thoughts. And I think at least give them their flowers. They deserve it. They've gotten into the later start of the Champions League. They've won the league for 3 to 4 times in the last 5 years, which is remarkable. Look at the top 5 European League and ask yourself, which team have won the league 3 to 4 times in the last 5 years? And then you understand how difficult it is to even win the league. Because for me, winning the league is much more difficult than winning the Champions League. Because winning the league, you need consistency. If you win the league, it means you've been the best team of the year in your own personal country. So let me know your thought. Let me know what you think about Inter Milan. I mean, they deserve the flowers. And who knows? This year might be their year winning the Champions League because they've done it. The more you try, the higher the chances for you to win anything in this life. And Inter Milan is a huge example. Guys, we're on our way to 1,000. We are very close. Without you guys, it's impossible. Guys, if you've been enjoying this video so far, give it a like, subscribe to it, and comment on what you think about the video. I will see you in the next video. Peace.